So I'm over here getting ready to send a video. I'm sending this to a prospect, right? But I got to make sure it looks good. I'm gonna drop it on LinkedIn here, and hopefully they connect back with me. You know what I mean? So, but think about it though. Like videos are just so powerful because for many different reasons. Like the first reason, one, the prospect can actually see you. Two, they get a chance to hear you and match the expression and what you're saying and the dialect and the inflection in your voice and so forth, like all of that stuff tie back to make a wonderful experience. They're able to use more of their senses. But think about it though. What if you were able to send 6,000 videos? What would you have learned if you sent that many videos? Well, today my guest Jarrod is going to tell us exactly what he learned from actually sending that many videos. Bro, it's good. All right, make sure the lighting good? Looks good? Hey, how you doing? I see y'all on the intro. Yeah, you just go start listening. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode today, I have Mr. Jarrod, the best Mitchell. And we're going to be talking today about LinkedIn, but specifically we're going to talk about videos. Jarrod has sent over 6,000 personalized videos, not some of these garbage automated videos, 6,000 personalized videos to individuals, and the results, the things that he's experiencing, the learning that he's had, some of the practices that has helped him. It's fascinating. Now, these are not going to be like some secret template that's going to help you to land 10,000 appointment, but he's going to teach you principles that you can apply, and the small things that work over and over if you do them is powerful. Listen to this episode, and if somebody that you actually feel that you want to help, a friend, send the link of this episode to them. I know they're going to really appreciate it. Now, if this is your first time listening to our podcast or watching one of our videos, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that button and we'll notify you every time we have a new episode. Also, I want you to take a link and share it with somebody else you know. This show is dedicated for a simple cause. We're here to help you to, one, build a strong, healthier sales pipeline, and two, convert a higher percentage of those people into paid customers. And we want to give you insights and guidance and all the content that's going to help you to do so. As we dive into this episode, listen for one thing that you can apply again, and let's see if we can help you with your video game. Jarrod, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, Donald.
Of course, I'm excited. It's a fellow islander on the shore,
Yes.
and it's a pleasure to have you. And our colors there are complementary, that blue and that yellow.
It works really well. It works well.
I know, right? Listen, man, I'm excited to have you here. I bragged about you a little bit in the teaser. Why don't you take a second and tell us a little bit more about you, man, and what you do?
Oh, I'm based in Trinidad and Tobago, the best island in the Caribbean. Don't care what Jamaica, Barbados, St. Lucia,
Oh,
Antigua,
come on.
any
I
of
don't
the
know
other
about
countries
this.
say immediately out the gate. I've been in
Shots fired already.
out the gate. I've been in sales my entire life. Nothing happens until a sale is made. So no knocking against finance, HR, none of those other departments, but you would not survive unless sales does their job. Not even new marketing, you would not survive. We actually need to do something and get that money through the door that goes into finance hands, that pumps the blood throughout the entire organization. So we are the most important aspect in any business. And
Come on.
since starting my career in sales, there was a point when I started working for one of the major telecoms down here that it triggered in me that sales is my thing. This is what I love. And I got extremely passionate about it over the years. And in 2019, exactly 3 years spending my time as the sales manager for Samsung in Trinidad and growing that by about 10 million US every year. The universe said, no, you need to leave here and go and do this on your own and start helping other companies. And it's been going on the 4th year now, and it's been pretty amazing. And I thank God every day for allowing me to use my ability to help others. And it's something I wake up and smile to every single day.
I love it, man. I think there's a couple of pieces there that jumped out to me. I think there's a second conversation we need to have because we really need to just clarify this thing about the best island. But again, I won't say anything about that today, Jamaica. But two, the concept of just like your sales experience and the depth that you have, doing it for such a long period of time, there's a lot with that. Three, your the philosophy. This is the philosophy we live by, and I think it falls in the same category there. In order to be successful, do the opposite of what everyone else is doing is something that I've been able to apply. And then betting on yourself, like just betting on you. Um,
Yes.
and a lot of people know my story. There is a huge deal I was working on. Company screwed the deal up, and I said screw it, and I made my Independence Day 2015,
Nice.
August 1, 2015. But there's a lot though that it's not always as easy, and there's ways that you need to separate yourself and to stand out. In particular, you do a fantastic job of that, and one of the avenues that you've been able to master is utilizing videos. Why don't you talk to me about that? Why videos? How'd you stumble on videos, and specifically LinkedIn with videos? Because you do a lot of education on LinkedIn, correct?
Yeah, so LinkedIn is my major platform for my business, and I'm proud to say what I do on videos actually allow me to have 90% inbound on my business. So I don't actually, only 10% of what I do is actual prospecting. And I kid you
Yeah,
not, I'll consider like my prospecting. Like today, I went in a coffee shop because I know from time to time I see certain individuals there. And I saw a client who have always do business ongoing. So we probably have something scheduled for March. Like that's
yeah,
what I consider my outbound prospecting. But on LinkedIn in particular, it's grown such a huge aspect for me. And the reason why I always talk about videos that Tom Ferry said it in a video in 2018. He said video is the fastest way to build brand, to build trust with strangers and
yep,
authority. No other thing, no other form of outreach could actually have that impact. And I'm so gung ho on it now. Like when it's Christmas, when it's my birthday, I don't respond to anything else. You have like video gets first priority, or you video call me. If you send me one of those generic gifs or a text, I literally do not respond. I don't.
yeah,
So I've used video for one main reason, and I started with this first, which is community. A lot of people I see when
mm,
they message people on LinkedIn, they always go for the sale. I build community first because my realistic thing of how I look at it, and I've proven it, I don't expect to get a customer in the first 2 seconds or the first 2 minutes or the first 2 days or the first 2 weeks or the first 2 months. But customers come through at those different points in time because of the content, because of my initial outreach. So my first video to people is always to build community, is to let you know that it's an actual face. You're seeing somebody content. I mentioned something about you as well, and I made the video super personal so that, as I say, gets that person paying attention to me next time they come onto the platform. That eventually converts some of those persons into my clients, and it has worked really well for me in the past 4 years. And as we said before we came on, I don't think anybody has this record, but I've done over 6,000 personalized videos to individuals on LinkedIn so far since LinkedIn introduced that feature. And I would not stop. I can honestly say it's overwhelming, but it's one of the best things that I actually do and commit to on a weekly basis.
6,000 videos, and I can tell you that he does it because when we connected, you sent me a video, and it sounded like, man, I was like, man, he must have want to rent the whole bio.
But remember, because it's
Yeah,
practice,
yeah,
I could look at your
yeah,
bio, your content, everything so quick and context that into a message. People are
yeah.
always shocked by it, which I love. But for me, I just keep saying in my mind, keep improving, keep getting better, keep getting better at ad-libbing and doing the messages so that, as I say, it can have an even bigger impact when somebody gets it the first time. And a lot of the clients, especially in the last 6 months, have said, the reason why I'm picking you is because you sent me the video. Like that's what stood
Mm,
out to me. So I
yeah.
know it's having the right impact.
Love it. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, you need to take advantage of open up your LinkedIn app, and Jared will probably go through that a little bit and talk about it in a little bit here. But LinkedIn has a component where it says take a video, and you can add a video on the app only right now. But I want to talk to you for a second. You mentioned a C word that I love. It's community. Um,
Yes.
John Acuff, I think it was today I saw a post by him. We use this aspect. I spoke to a VP of sales 2 weeks ago, and he talked about this. And I see a trend happening. It's something that we've stumbled upon for a number of years now. But community, define community though. Like what exactly is community? Because you mentioned you try to build community.
For me, in this case, I think community goes where I'm building a community of people who are trying to get their problems solved, but at the same time want to do it at their own pace. So I'm creating that aspect with regards to the community on LinkedIn. A lot of people I
Mhm.
connect to, whether it's in the Caribbean or it's internationally, come onto LinkedIn because they're trying to figure out how to use it to their advantage, whether they're job seeking, they're trying to look for people to help them with certain aspects of their business. So I'm using that, as I say, that first level to build a community to say, listen, I talk about some of the things that you're trying to get your problem solved on. There's no, as I say, there's no purchase necessary. There's no gimmick. It's just for us to have this conversation and to, more importantly, learn from each other as I say, the time goes along. So, and I think this year too, Leslie Vanette said it, and I see more and more people say it because Jarrod Robbins said it as well. Community is going to be one of the biggest things in sales going forward into 2023, 2024. And if you don't focus on that and try and build that community first, you're not actually going to get the success that you want in business. I'm not saying you're not going to be successful, but I think the success that you desire won't be achieved unless you could really build that community of people who know you intimately and vice versa.
Yeah, they want to be a part of something, and like going back
Yes.
to this idea of feeling that they can belong with other like-minded folks, and also like people who can you can they can relate to. It's There's a lot of content. John Acuff said, I think he said, there's a lot of content, but not a lot of community, and I just love that. So great point with it. 6,000 videos though. Um,
Yes.
It's a lot of videos, and you say you keep up with it every single week. You probably learned a whole bunch. I mean, if there's maybe you could highlight maybe three main things you've learned from doing that many videos, and maybe we could break each of them down. So maybe you can list. Tell me what maybe the top three things you've
Oh
learned from doing that
yeah.
many video.
I mean I was doing it for Victor Antonio recently, so I'll use the same thing. So here's the thing I would tell everybody. Number one, please don't say your name. Your name is already in the message. They connect with you. They, you know, much time
Hmm.
I've seen messages. Hey, hi Jared, this is Donald C. Kelly. Really? I didn't know. Like your name is there. But I want you all to visualize this because what a lot of people have trouble doing is realizing that LinkedIn, even though it's digital, is almost like the real world. So I don't say good morning, hi, how are you? I say your name first. I say, because you
Hmm.
notice I did that in a video. I said Donald. Then I'll
Yeah.
say happy Thursday, how you going? Think about as if you
Yeah.
saw somebody in the street. It's the same thing. You're not going to say hi, you're going to say their name. So always start with their name. That is super important. The other thing which works for me, and I've tested it, this is a weird one, right?
Sure.
What you wear is important, but like I have like a Star Wars shirt here, and I also have a Golden Girls shirt. I found like sometimes when I wear those, they get way more response to some persons, especially like when you're prospecting. If you're just reaching out to people who you know, like what I'm wearing now is great, but I've found like for some reason when you put on that Star Wars shirt, it gets mentioned in the
They relate
message.
to it.
Like and I keep wondering now, you know what I'm wondering? Like, and for those of you, if you might be a big football fan, wear your football t-shirt. Like I wouldn't wear, if I remember correctly, because I think Dallas Cowboys are going through a really bad time. You can wear that as part of the fun, but you could wear your company t-shirt. And here's an advantage because I've tested this so many times. Android does something that iOS doesn't. Android flips your video when you send it. So in other
Mhm.
words, when I send my video, Columbia is written properly. It's not, or what you see on my shirt now, it's not backwards. So if you're wearing a company logo on your, like you're wearing a polo with your company logo on it, it shows up showing correctly versus reversed. iOS
Yeah.
doesn't do that. Android does. So keep that in mind. The other thing I
I
would,
noticed that we were talking. One of my buddies and I we were talking about that too.
yeah,
Um, about that same concept because my TSC logo was like flipped when was one of his videos that he did with me, but then
yep.
when I did on mine, anyways. But go.
And then the other thing I'll tell you how to do is smile, but stop the smile right before you record because don't talk immediately as the record button comes on. Wait that half a second before it switches to 0 1 because you would lose the audio and then saying their name at the start loses its impact.
Yeah.
The other thing is, which I don't see salespeople doing across the board, and I've been approached by international companies and I'm always shocked because you might think it's a local thing. You all still don't do research. It takes so little time to look at somebody's profile. You could context several things. Something in their headline might be important to you. Something in a post they said is important to you. Something in their bio is important to you. You could context either one of these things versus sending, as you see when they send a text, it's a generic, horrible message. Like
Hmm.
telling people, hey, Donald, I saw you like John Barrow's post. thought it would be good to connect. I'm not connecting with you. I am not. Anytime you send me a message about something we did similar, I'm not connecting with you because I know you're just coming into pitch.
Yeah.
You're only coming into pitches. The only benefit we are connecting is for you, and it's not for both of us, and therefore I'm not interested. And then the other thing, and this might be a stretch, but again, this is a person who you're using it to prospect, which I don't mind. Think about using captions because I did a survey where a lot of persons said even though they work from home or they're working in the office or they're working in a cafe, they're not in a position where they might have headphones in, but they could read and follow the message if captions are there. So if you're sending a message to an important prospect, that actually works out really well in your favor to do, right? That's one of the things. So
With
yeah,
with the inbox video, I know on the post now LinkedIn does the auto caption. Are they doing the caption yet for the inbox
no.
videos?
So you'll need to add it. But by the way, if
Yeah.
you're really reaching out to a client, you can put it in because again, it would get their attention. And somebody did that to me. I did a post about it. So shout out to, oh gosh, I forgot his name. I'll find it anything. He sent me a personalized video on LinkedIn and it had hi Jarrod at the top. Like that is simple enough just to catch the
Yeah.
person's attention. I thought it was brilliant because even though it was an outright pitch, it wasn't like a pitch. It was just finding out I do this. Not sure if that might be a priority or interest for you, but let me know. It wasn't like, hey, let's meet, let's have a meeting. Mm-mm. So I thought it was a really great outreach message, and I want to give shout out to him as well. So that was really good. So that would be literally my simple rules for when you're utilizing video, and of course keep it short. It's not a what is a Martin Scorsese film? It's not Avatar. Like 30 seconds, folks. 30 seconds. That's it.
So why, there's a lot of good stuff here. I mean, the name, I love that. Not saying the whenever hi always for me felt like it's a pitch, like right out the gate. Whenever I see that in like an email. Um, I love the strategy of I put down having prospecting clothes, like clothes that are going to be a little bit different on that. The smiling, look at the profile, get some details. These are not overly complicated things, Jared, but you've come across, we've trained and worked with a lot of teams. Why are people not doing it though? Why do they not take advantage of it? Let's say minus the people who don't know about it, because there's going to be a handful of people who say, yeah, I didn't know anything about video. But those that know about it, why don't they do
Because their
it?
bosses push them to only chase numbers because they want them to automate and send a large amount of bulk messages out. And by the way, we are going to see a swarm of automated video DMs going out to people. There are a few companies who are doing it now, and I think it's going to backfire really bad only because
Yeah,
I don't think they're doing enough research on their ICP. So they're going to just do the same thing of picking one message and just sending it to as many people because it's video and it won't come across as personalized. It's just going to be a video message, if you get what I mean.
I
And
do.
I think it's only because companies are just chasing numbers. It's not about getting a meeting. It's literally about no, you need to make these many dials, send these many emails, complete these many cadences. That's literally why companies don't do it. Because one of my friends, she was an SDR, and when she described what it is that she had to do, the focus was always in getting the numbers out, and there was never any time to actually let them say you should personalize these messages. Because by the way, I'm not saying personalize every single message, especially if you're prospecting, but there
Mm.
must be the top 20 people on your list that day that you could send a video out to. Like you could look at the list and tell these are the best ones. And you may not get them on a phone call, but the video might be the next option. So you have multi-touch in your approach. Personalize the video. Please don't send a generic text. Like send them a video. It will make a massive difference in your pipeline. And it'll probably improve your
Yeah.
response rates if that's what's being measured by your team as well.
Yeah, I think for many leaders, like and you hit a point there, like the outcome or the performance, if you're getting appointments, if I can get the appointment in 10 outreaches
Yeah.
and you're going to send 100, generic email to get the same thing, I would take the rep that's more efficient and who could do it in 10. Like, so, you
The
know,
reps who get to do it are the ones who break the mold and do it in their spare time and then show management the result. But the
yeah,
other reps who don't do the initiative, they just, management told me to do this, I'm doing it, whether the results are good or not. So
yeah.
that's the reason why it's not done.
So the advice there is to break them all and just try it.
Break the mold and try it. And as I say, even if you get a response that's negative, I'm sure it's way better than the non-response that you do get, which most sales reps, most SDRs aren't getting right now.
Yeah. And I want to preface something there too. It's like, there's a lot of good things that happened, great technology or great tools that eventually somebody figured out a way to do it bad. Like you're saying, they're going to try to automate videos now. For a SDR, BDR, anyone listening to this call, like, we're not saying now go ahead and pitch in your video when you first connect to someone. Um, still build that relationship, because what you're saying here is more of, let's go back and break down your, like, a first message. You obviously you connect with that person, you talk about them. What are some components, or what are some of those other elements that I should have in that first initial message?
No, well, I'll do one better. Let me give you the structure of the message if you want to prospect. But this is built
Sure.
on the fact that you're putting out content and you
Yeah.
understand who your ICP. So I may reach out to you and say, Donald, thanks so much for connecting. So you notice name first, and I say thanks for connecting. My reason for doing so is that my company is actually doing great work with people in your segment and having great success. The content that you're going to see on my page is going to educate you to see how we may be of benefit. And if the point in time comes where you do see a need where our service can actually help your organization, let me be your point man, right? Thanks so much for the connection. So you're letting them know your intent, but it's not an actual pitch, but your content is what is going to guide them. And if they get a response and they say, thanks so much, then I lead in and I switch back to text and I respond to them to use to ask some quick discovery questions to see if it is a potential customer. But I use video in that perspective in case to let them know my reason for connecting to you is that I know I can help you, but what I'm actually directing to you is looking at the content that I have, because that will actually be of value. And that's what buyers want. Buyers want the information. So if I point you in the right direction and I explain the content speaks about A, B, and C, which are your three problems, you're going to be happy because this person actually brought me information that I was looking for.
Mm. I love this. It is yeah, it's basically, as you're building community, it's kind of almost like filtering or conditioning people to, whatever silos or what to expect. And
Yeah.
if you set up that expectation, then now I'm like, if you tell me, like, you're in say you're finance, and you're sharing stuff on how to better run an effective financial department. Now every time when I look, like you said, I'm going to look for you. I'm going to look for the yellow, and I'm going to look for stuff on finance. Like, he's going to have
Yep.
a good tip for me. And when my boss says, "Hey, we need to do a training on how to latest software," well, let me hit up Jarrod, because he's talking a lot about finance.
And
But
not
I've been
only that,
conditioned or programmed.
correct, but not only that, when they have engaged with your content, you can know. So put it this way: if you're producing content and somebody engages with it, that's the equivalent of you being on a stage talking about their problem and they're saying yes, and you have not returned the response to say, what about that in particular you see being relevant in your organization? Because you need to continue the conversation. You need to immediately go to the DMs and actually have a conversation about that, saying, hey, Donald, you like my post about this. What about you see being relevant in your organization at this time? Because that allows you to
Mm.
get your foot in the door. And that's what, again, the reps aren't doing. They just literally send a generic message and leave it at that. But
Repeat
I
that
always
last
take it a
part.
step further. Oh, sorry,
You
they
said
send. Mhm.
the part where you said, after, so that the post and then the follow-up video with that post.
No,
What did you say?
so here's my format. My first outreach to anyone is always video. My outreach after will always be text or voice, depending on what they use. So most people use
Sure.
text, so I respond to text. So if you have engaged with one of my posts, like you have liked it or you have even commented on it, I immediately go to the DMs and I say via text message or even voice, Donald, thanks so much for liking the post about X and Y. Let me know how that is playing a factor or impacting your organization right now, or if it is, because what you're trying to do is find out interest and if the message was actually relevant.
Have you tried it with polls yet?
No, because I haven't used many polls and I haven't used polls in that aspect with regards to business.
Test
That'd
it
be
out.
interesting.
We do
Hmm.
polls, and that's the strategy that I use there. So when I do a poll, like I just had my latest one, and then here's the other thing. So my team comes back in after me and connect with those folks, right? So 194 people, and polls right now is LinkedIn's darling, right? It's one of their new features, so they really push that algorithm. So you get a lot of people outside of your network who are potential ideal customers. I pull it up and I look and see people who voted, and those who are in like sales making decision, like leadership position, and I'll hit them up, and I'll send the similar things like, hey man, I appreciate you, and or whatever, I appreciate you interacting on a poll or something to that nature. But then it starts a conversation because they voted on that topic around an issue, and it's amazing how those lead to further conversation. My philosophy is conversations. You got to have obviously engagement. We have our strategies: connect, share, engage. But when you do that conversation, that's where you're saying like you're building community and magic starts to happen. But
Yep.
most people don't do it. They'll do a post and they run and they don't engage with it. But I love how you go the extra mile. It just makes sense.
And here's the thing that a lot of people don't consider too as well. Even when I have
Hmm.
the conversations, even though you have engaged with the post, I never go in and actually directly sell. What I do is that you still have to ask a lot of questions. I've seen too many times where
Yes.
just because you've expressed a pain, some people will switch your messaging and say, Donald, I saw you like my post about X and Y. Let's have a conversation. Let's meet. No, no.
No.
Let's continue asking questions to truly figure out if there is an actual need, or maybe the person is just supporting you because you sent them a really nice introduction video and they
Yeah.
just that's part of how they're responding to you or reciprocating to you as part of the community.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's and at the beginning you talked about this. You see somebody in the street,
Hmm.
you're not gonna go and give them like the full out formal thing. You're just gonna have a conversation, right?
Yeah,
Hi, I want to introduce myself to you and to tell you I'm a account executive. It's like you're a
but
person, you're a human being. Just have a
especially on
convo.
social, this is what persons don't realize, and I stress this to them, especially if you're wearing your company polo, even if you're doing it in person. I do not speak about what I offer because, especially on LinkedIn, my profile is optimized. My content speaks about what I
Hmm.
do. Why would I want to spend time speaking to the customer about that versus trying to learn and understand what is their current situation? That's what and I've tested this out. If you reach the mark of asking 5 to 10 really good questions, the customer is going to ask you a question along the lines of, so how can you help me? Because they've realized
Yeah,
already you can based on the great questions. There's no need for you to pitch. There's only need for you to push value with the customer. That's it.
bro. You're big heart. I love it. I'm a fan. It's your kindred spirit here. This stuff is like it's amazing. I love your strategy.
But here's my
6,000 video.
question. So many of
Yeah,
us, like, this is what I'm confused with. You may laugh at this. There's so many of
yeah,
us sales trainers out here, people who talk about sales, we always giving advice on LinkedIn. Why is there still so many bad sales pitches and bad sales techniques still happening? Why?
yeah. That's a deep question. I don't think there's enough of us. And then the other part is the impact. Let me give you some stats real quick.
Mhm.
LinkedIn did a study. What percentage of of people post on LinkedIn do you think of the users?
I think I saw the stats on that. I think it's only out of the 877 it has now, I think it's less than 8 million. It's still like 1 to 3%, right?
It just, yeah, December 2022, 2021, it hit 2%. So now it's probably getting a little bit more, but it's just still that under that same threshold. I feel a lot of people know what to do, but they don't do what they know they're supposed to do. And I think especially when it comes to like say like sales education, I go into companies and let's say I have a team of like 25 people that I'm training. I know off the bat that I'm probably going to have like, like probably 10% of them they're there because they have to and they're not going to apply. So I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm teaching to everybody, but let me just focus on the ones that are. And if I'm going to give everybody, but I know let's say 75% are going to actually engaged in it, and then you're going to probably have those. Like of that, maybe like 25% of them, they're going to really go out and do it. They're going to make the change from it. They're going to be willing to take the action. I think a lot of people just it's repetition. And what I found, especially in our training programs, I've done them where it was like, we can go in for like the 1 day thing. So our programs are more cohort now. Started this several years ago, so that
Hmm.
I'm trying to build habits because it's oftentimes just pushing people to do something and to get out of that mold. And I think
Yes.
that would be what I would say the big challenge is one, getting out of their comfort zone, and then two is being willing to learn. I don't know enough as like everybody else in the world, but I do know stuff that's worked, and clearly there's been some things that's worked. And I sometimes you find, especially with salespeople, and I've done this before when I was an individual contributor. I'm like, what can I really learn from this person? But if we can get past that and just be willing to learn, like with Kobe Bryant, and always seek to improve, a magic can happen. So I think we just have to keep doing it and keep bringing great people like you on a podcast and
So
keep
true.
amplifying your content.
Yes. So true, so true. But yeah, it just boggles my mind because I keep seeing bad practices every day, and it's just like that's why sales still has this negative stereotype.
Yeah.
So it gets me upset when I mean, as you said it at the start of the podcast, we have the best profession in the world. We literally have the best job. So it's like, I wish more of us were in it could just be doing better versus just doing a half-ass job. Because
Agree with you there, man.
that horrible attempt at what some of them are doing are just compounding the negative stereotype for us. So it's making it a bit difficult. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I did a just like a simple post the other day because I connected with somebody, accepted a connection request, and you just know I know when the financial advisors are going to start hitting up. So I tested out too many times. So they always hit you with that coffee. Let's do a coffee. I'm like, bro, I got a financial advisor. Or you can just tell which some of these ones are going to come. But the point though is like as soon as you accept a connection request, oftentimes they feel that means I want to buy everything that you have, and it's not the case.
Nope.
It is just I just thought you were cool and I wanted to add you to my network. But if you're gonna do like this, then unfollow. You know what I mean? Um, and so that idea though propelled to what you're saying about a lot of people are doing it for the numbers, or to do it because this is what their boss says rather than really trying to engage. And if you just do the opposite, just engage with people, it's
Just have a
amazing the
conversation.
results. Yeah, it's amazing. So, Jarrod, you gave us a lot today.
Thank
I'm
you.
pumped, and hopefully we can get some folks to connect back. But if people want to learn from you, they want to connect with you, what's the best way for them to go about doing so?
LinkedIn is the main place where you can find all my information. This year I'm actually pushing a lot of my content. I will be pushing a lot of my content onto my website, just switching platforms at the moment from Squarespace to WordPress. But
Nice.
I would be pushing everything across there, starting my email list and everything too as well. But LinkedIn right now is the main channel where you can find all my content. You could reach out, you will get a video message from me. We can have a conversation because I'm addicted to talking about sales, talking about LinkedIn, and you could kidnap me just telling me about something yellow. Like you could say, Jarrod, I have something yellow for you, and it could be in the shadiest location ever, and I'll still go because it's yellow.
All right. Well, I need to get you a copy of the book then because it's all yellow, and you'll appreciate it
Oh,
then from the
you have a
islands.
book?
Yeah. Sell it
Oh
like a
well,
mango. Where's the
send it to
copy?
me. I would order that. I would order it immediately. I'm a heavy book reader. Heavy.
Yeah, man. So being from the islands, so I tried to sell. I was writing the book, and then
Hmm.
my and I was working on this thing for like several years, man, and it just wasn't going anywhere. I was just giving like sales tips, and then I hired a book coach, Azul. Big shout out to Azul. He brought him on the show. But Azul says, Donald, all right, he read the manuscript and he's like, can I be honest? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, we're not going to use this. I'm like, serious? I've been working on it forever. He said, all right, tell me the first thing you ever sold. And I started telling him about a mango, how I saw, you go on market and see people that sell stuff, that sell mango and stuff. So I was like, hey, they're selling mangoes. We got a mango tree in the front. Yeah, let me try to sell some of this stuff. And I sucked at it. And then it was the same type of mango coming from the same exact region. It wasn't like imported mangoes from Jamaica, right? And then I started to think about it. And as I told him this, he's like, Donald, this is a problem right there. There are a lot of people who are selling the same exact software, same exact house, same exact car, same exact solution, same exact services, but it's not necessarily about the product, it's the individual. So selling like a mango, a new seller's guide to closing more deal is about the individual seller and what you
Yep.
can do. And I relate to what I saw, people selling on selling my aunts and family members selling stuff on a side of the road, or um, you know, hustling in Jamaica, and I transferred that into B2B selling software. But that's it. But it's yellow. It's a yellow book.
Yes.
So selling like a
I
mango.
am literally adding it to my Amazon list now because I have to jump into the next call, but I will be Oh yeah, and it's yeah. Order in one time. Okay, yeah, done,
Bro,
done,
let's go.
done. Thank you so much, man, Donald. I appreciate it. And
Jarrod,
as I say, yeah,
appreciate you.
lovely. Have a good one.
Hey, that was Jarrod. I'm telling you, man, if you haven't connected with him, find him on LinkedIn and check out that personal video as he send it to you because he does it faithfully over and over and over and over again. And he's been able to build some strong relationships, strong community. This podcast, again, we're here to help you. And I want to make sure you always learn from people like Jarrod. You can find him on LinkedIn again, see some of his content, check him out on the gram and some of the great things that he's sharing. But as you follow him and as you apply these things, I know you're going to see amazing results. As always, I want you to build a healthier sales pipeline. I want you to convert a higher percentage of them. I want you to take advantage of our sponsors because they're giving you offers, especially tools that can help you in your sales game to get it to the next level when it comes to pipeline building. And the last thing that I want for you to do is to spin your wheels. You can find amazing success. Most importantly, I want you to raise your level of thinking and go out and do big things. See you on the next one.